No, thank you very much, Peter, and good morning to all the participants that are here, but also good morning to the viewers at home. Also want to give my respect and greetings to the New Age editor, Mohsin Williams, the CEO of SABC, Lulama Mokhobo, our sponsor, Babu Mafiga Mkwanazi from Transnet, the acting DG and senior officials from the department. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed it is a good morning for us, and we're quite excited as a department to be here this morning. And I also see some of our partners, Kagiso Trust is here. I'm sure they're very excited that one of the districts which they've been working in the Free State, the Thabo Mofokeng one, which is mainly the Kwakwa district, became the second best district in the country. So again, to all our partners in education, thank you very much again. And not only Kagiso Trust, I see lots of our partners that are here, and again want to thank them for the support that they gave us. Thank you to New Age and SABC for this opportunity. So let me first take this opportunity to convey our appreciation and acknowledgement to the South African nation and the general public for the support and patience they have afforded us over many years when we are working very hard to try and get basic education sector to perform as expected. Similarly, it is fitting to express our gratitude to both constructive criticism, comments, and guidance from the broader civil society. As we reported last year, Program Director, then when I took over as a minister in 2009, we stood at 60.9%, and 4 years down the line, indeed, we're at 78.2%. Once again, it's an indication that indeed the system is on the right track, whilst acknowledging that a lot of work still needs to be done. There's overwhelming evidence that we're improving learner performance, but again, there's also overwhelming evidence that a lot still needs to be done in the system to fix it to be the perfect system that we want it to be. On this path, soon enough, we're confident that we will join the leads of performing systems in the world. It is truly too early to celebrate, because on deeper analysis of the results, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done as a nation. We still have to continue analyzing the performance of these different districts, especially those districts in the Eastern Cape which perform below 60%. Receive report from provinces on interventions and support for schools that performed badly, and continue to pay attention, as we did, to classroom practices with the aim of improving learning and teaching in the classrooms. We definitely cannot be happy when a good number of our learners, after 12 years of their investment in the education system, leave the system without any qualification, while some don't even reach it, so even our dropout rates. The pass rate still needs to improve alongside the retention rates that we have to improve. Through CEM, we will discuss and at the end find solutions to some of the schools that continue to fail our children. There are some township schools in rural villages that still fail our kids, and those are going to be our priority in 2014. But it's also important that our people should not shift the goalposts. Let us acknowledge the progress that we're making in the education system. The fact of the matter is that it has become harder to pass grade 12 as it was the case, as compared to what was the case before. Actually, some of our critics served as advisors to previous ministers of education when we still had 25% pass rate in lower grades and didn't have a word to say. They served, one of our biggest critics was an advisor to 2 ministers. And perhaps our fault is that we didn't retain him to continue advising us, because my suspicion was that the reason we got into trouble, it might have been the advices he was giving previous ministers that were even forced to break up the departments. And fortunately, by not retaining him, we're able to break through and make progress, but we'll still engage him, because indeed, he's polluting the environment by not telling the truth that he was advisors to 2 ministers before I came into office. As reported yesterday, We will be implementing recommendations from all the committees and commissions from education experts and specialists that reported to us, whilst also paying attention to lower grades, as it was promised also. Because the other thing also which I think our commentators have to respect, if you want an advice on maths, you go to mathematicians. You don't go to lawyers, health activists or gender activists. You go to lawyers and get advice. And that's what we've been doing. But to really also have platforms given to all forms of activists, your gender, your AIDS activists, your lawyers, and seeking advice on education, I'm scared it might lead us back to where we come from. We don't ignore them. We don't want to ignore them. We respect them. But we think education is a specialized area. Let's work with specialists of education. Let them advise us. We'll take their advice. It is a privilege and honor to serve the South African nation and public. And I must acknowledge that South Africans generally take themselves seriously and just don't take kind to be outperformed or beaten by any other nation. We sit also in a different sporting codes. But we also got to learn that concerns on education are a universal phenomenon, even in European and other countries where education systems seem to be doing better than ours. For instance, during one of the sessions in the 2013 World Innovation Summit in Qatar, the audience was informed by an expert from European Union that in the findings of the survey which they conducted to determine the value of education in providing solutions to current challenges, participants there said, especially your business participants, indicate that education was useless, irrelevant, and to the current needs and challenges. And this came from chopstick countries, from Latin America. So it is an international phenomenon that I think nationally or globally, we're quite anxious about what comes out of a classroom because of the value of education. Similarly, over the past few years, the World Economic Forum has since been releasing information on the ranking of countries comparing performance in education systems. During the last ranking, South Africa was ranked number 42 out of 44 countries. This ranking was also based on views expressed by business leaders, an assessment made on learners at all, and no assessment made on learners at all. And one of our researchers, Martin Gustafsson, wrote a response cautioning against using this report of the World Economic Forum. But again, our South African commentators keep on referring to a very unscientific report and use it also as information that we have to be considering in looking at the work that we're doing. This is despite the fact that international studies such as your SACMEC, your PILS and TIMS, which are international studies, even our own local studies, are indicating that we are making progress in the basic education sector. The recently held WISE UNESCO meeting in 2013 reminded us that in pursuit of providing quality education, countries are essentially faced with the same challenges, such as inclusion, multi-grade teaching, teacher development, and the use of ICT in learning and teaching. South Africa was commended during the aforementioned meetings for having made excellent progress in affording learners access to the system. It was therefore interesting to learn from the WISE meeting about school dropout rates in the first world countries and learners with no access to education in poor countries. In an endeavor to develop an education system that can fully equip the citizenry to deal with fundamental and global challenges, we have to come to the realization that the focus has to be on investing on teachers in every aspect, because the teacher remains the cornerstone of the best education system in the world. The benefits of splitting basic education and higher education have shown in the improvement of the performance of both sectors ever since. The regular reviews on government performance repeatedly confirm that South Africa has one of the best policies in the world, and the problem has always been on implementation, and that's where we've been focusing a program director. This then brought about the responsibility on the DBE to go out and work with provinces to bring about harmony between policy intentions and the implementation. DB had to work with and through provinces to bridge the aforementioned gap. The leadership at political and administrative levels created and supported forums to share best practice and monitor implementation. And this marked the beginning of the new era in the sector. DB also strengthened its capacity to support and monitor all levels of the system. The aforementioned, in a nutshell, characterize the educational sector service delivery terrain. Attention moving forward will be given to areas that contributed to progress we have made. This will be around the curriculum area, national strategy on learner attainment, resourcing and funding of the sector, continued focus on teacher tax and time, increase accountability measures and monitor deliverables, strengthen our partnership with civil society. As I said, I saw a number of our partners here, continue with our assessments, and also ensure that we implement our plans on infrastructure and the standardization of our national senior certificates. Once again, allow me, Program Director, to congratulate the class of 2013 for bringing the best since the advent of democracy, and encourage every learner to go further than their predecessor and strive to excel in higher education, the workplace, and also in their contribution to South Africa as citizens. But we also want to take this opportunity to thank parents, teachers, principals, the teacher unions, communities, district and provincial officials, but also our partners from civil society for supporting the class of 2013. And judging from the announcement of yesterday's results, and in particular results from provinces that had previously struggled, I'm sure you'll agree with me that our learners deserve to be congratulated and celebrated. They have done us proud. For us to have Thabo Mofutshanyane district in the Free State leading in the Free State, which is a deep rural area in Kwakwa, Vembe and Limpopo, and many other rural provinces, making the inroads that they've made, does show that we are beginning to break the back of underperformance in poor communities. The sector needs to urgently reduce also, as I said earlier, the repetition and dropout rates. It has to take practical steps to address inclusivity and excellence, because we don't want to leave any learner behind, but we also can't teach at the pace of the slowest. So all these have to be paid attention to. Also on technical high schools education, we've done work on technical schools. We are doing lots of work around inclusivity, especially ensuring that we begin to implement our White Paper 6 on inclusive education and make sure that indeed we address the needs of children with learning barriers. We also are working quite close, especially through the National Education Collaboration Trust. With their support, they've already profiled more than 7,000 schools in the country, have identified challenges starting from classroom to broken windows, and we have started addressing those. And we'll be using the lessons and experiences gained from this program to also factor into the other districts where the collaboration trust is not working. And it is appropriate for me, a program director, to draw again from Modiba's words. His memory is still fresh in our minds. This is what he had to say, I quote, "There's no easy walk to freedom anyway, and many of us will have to pass through the valleys of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountain top of our desires." And I think also as education, there is no easy way to solutions. We still have to do lots and lots of work to get to where we want to go. So allow me to use this opportunity to wish all our learners the best in the future and appeal to parents and all our people to continue to support the nation's children. Let's continue to make education a societal issue, because it seems to be definitely working when all of us are joining hands to make it work, because these are children, they are our future, and indeed, they are the future of this country and and they carry the hopes of this country. I thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Minister. If I could ask you to say thank you so much.